Hey, good morning, my friends. How are you? Welcome to another edition of Behind the Mic. I am 1 minute late, and I apologize for that. It snuck up on me here in the broadcast studio. Time and the clock is everything. So the fact that I got started a minute late is disturbing to me. Anyway, glad to have you along with us as I am live here in the Outdoor Magazine. Good morning, Brent. Brent, remind me, are we going to see you and Tracy Saturday night? I certainly hope so. Carl, nice to have you along with us as well on what is an absolutely good morning, Craig. Captain Mike, Johnny, Mike Natkowski. How are you? Mike, we need to get you on the radio show. Man, Mike Critchfield jumped right into it. He said, Mike. Going to be there, Brent. Excellent. Jason, good morning. How are you? Hey, Randy, you found me at Bolanowski. Good morning. Mike, what day is it? What day is it? It's hump day. It's hump day. Two Roberts, Robert Ellis, Robert Cahoon, Larry, Bernie, Paul checking in from hell, where it's sunny this morning. It's sunny in hell. I am doing well, Mad Jack. Appreciate it. Back here in the studio to do one of my favorite things, record this week's Outdoor Magazine radio show. It's hump day. Bruce, good morning. Cliff, good morning. You see the video I posted last week of the guy with the camel? Wasn't my video, but it was certainly pretty funny. By the way, welcome to Lent. This is Ash Wednesday. Rick says spring is just around the corner. Ed checking in from Wadhams. All is well, Gary. Jim Ward, good morning to you. And I am feeling exceptionally good this morning because yesterday, March 1st, was kind of a big day for me. I actually saw my first dead skunk in the middle of the road. And I'm late in this part of the state, the central part of the lower peninsula. Dave, how are things in Oscoda? Good morning, Jim, Gary. Nathan's listening to Claire. It's almost like spring. It is. Well, as far as I'm concerned, it is springtime now because I saw my first dead skunk yesterday, right in the middle of the road. I took a picture of it laying right across the yellow line. Ed, how are things in Texas? I've been driving all over the place looking for a skunk. Could not find a dead skunk. And my buddy Dan from church sent me a picture of a dead skunk in the front of his place. No way, Ed. He's got night crawlers in his yard. I was thinking that'll be the next thing. Man ticketed for having 1,500 walleye in his freezer. Wow. Dead skunks, thumbs up, Nathan says. Jason checking in from the Fort Dearborn truck plant. Cliff is going to have Beta Not going to stop by Rapid River. Make sure you tell him I said hi. So Dan calls me up or he sends me a picture. He said, I got a skunk over here, a dead one. So I went over and took a picture of his dead skunk because I couldn't find my own. Kevin, good morning. How are you? Shed hunting soon. Hey, Ross. Yeah, we're ready for Saturday. That's what I was thinking, Johnny. Johnny said, dead skunks. He said, the skunks can't even start to dig out up there in the Upe. And that's the thing. Down here, it does feel like springtime. And I know our friends in the UP are saying, Avery, what are you talking about? We're a long time from springtime. Hey, Len, good morning. How are you? A blessed Ash Wednesday to you as well. No fishing you free today, but tomorrow. Good to hear, Pastor. Tim Henry, get that last walleye fishing in the Flint River before the 15th. Jim saw a dead skunk last Friday. Okay, so aside from just seeing my first dead skunk yesterday, like I said, it was a banner year. My office is in the house downstairs. I came up and we've got a sunroom overlooking the pond in the back of the house. And I walked out there to sit down for a second and just look at the pond and look at the sunshine. And I heard it. I heard the first red-winged blackbird as well. So the first skunk, which to me is usually a couple of weeks ahead of the first red-winged blackbird, the first red-winged blackbird yesterday, And as if to make it even better, and I don't put a lot of stock in this one, I looked out at the yard and there were robins flitting around and bouncing around all over the yard. The trifecta: dead skunk, red-winged blackbird, and robins. Now, the robins, I don't put a lot of stock into them because those goofy things are around here all the time. But it certainly does. And Johnny, in our part of the state here, mid-Michigan, and Johnny, I look forward to seeing you Saturday, buddy, at the Trinity Monitor Wild Game Dinner. Reminder on that. You can't get tickets. It's sold out. But Deb says she's got red wings and starlings at her feeder right now. All right, Johnny, see you tonight, buddy. You're right, Mike. It makes springtime official. Don't forget about the online auction, one.bidpal.net, where you can bid on several things, including the charter captain's class, the walleye fishing trip on the Detroit River, the shoulder mount from Scott Keatsman of Lindward Taxidermy. Good point, Cliff. One more thing. The geese are back on the pond. The pond is still ice covered, but the geese have wandered back and they're starting to set up shop. So it's official as far as I'm concerned. Chad, good morning. Great day to take a walk around the property looking for sheds now that the snow is low enough. Great point, Chad. Excellent. Captain Todd, how are you? Randy says geese are flying all over. And I love the geese until they start nesting on the pond, and then they bring their young up into the yard. That's why I put up my goose fence every year. Okay, so also one other thing, Mother Nature related. Sandhills in Sanford, Terry says, I haven't seen any sandhills yet, but I have heard reports of them. Captain Todd says he lost the video. Fred Bear Day is this Friday and Saturday in Grayling to celebrate 120 years. Thank you for that, Chad. Scott Hand, maybe you already talked about it. Well, I did not know that, Scott. Thank you for the heads up. I will do that today. Scott Hand said, maybe you already talked about it, but Walleye for Warriors Boat Captains is live for sign up. Go to walleyesforwarriors.com, walleyesforwarriors.com. Even though there is no such word as walleyes, the website is walleyesforwarriors.com, walleyesforwarriors.com. Scott, I will be signing up today as a boat captain. Hunter Joe says he saw sandhills this morning. Help me out, Joe. Send me a private message. I'm still trying to figure out, and I apologize, who you are. I know we're neighbors, but I can't figure out which neighbor based on Hunter Joe. Daryl, don't see too many skunks here or blackbirds, but we do have a clown running around. Oh, your country? I get it. .org. Walleyesforwarriors.org. Walleyesforwarriors.org. Thank you, Scott. Yeah, I will. I'll make a note of that. Walleyes for warriors.org. Yeah, I'll sign up to be a boat captain today. Mad Jack's going to sign up as well. Okay, Mother Nature. Have you noticed Facebook page too? Okay, thank you, Scott. I'm really looking forward to that event after taking some time off from those events. Lost Glove Farms checking in. Good morning. John tapped maple trees yesterday. There you go. Another sign of springtime. Maple trees. Let me add that to my list. See, Johnny, you need to move down here because down here it's starting to feel like springtime. Now I know it's going to go up and down. It's going to get rotten and get nice again, but it feels like springtime. So Johnny Bowler, there where you are in the middle of the UP, you need to move south. Okay. Again, this point about deer. Have you noticed that right now when you see deer, you never see a deer? You see a herd of deer. I had a meeting last night at church and I was driving over there just before dark and it was crazy. It was like, dozens and dozens and dozens of deer. It's like every deer in the section was out in that field. Ross said, what is the website for the online auction again? It is one.bidpal.net. One.bidpal.net. I was waiting for somebody to say something like that, Dan. Dan is a Youper. He says, too many people down there. Hey, Johnny? For you too. Hey, Dan? I get it. I get it completely. I understand completely. Except when it's springtime here in March and you guys are still in wintertime. I have not seen, as I wander around, there you go, Scott. Bringing some mounts to display. I heard that, Scott. We got tickets waiting for you. Scott Keatsman of Linwood Taxidermy, linwoodtaxidermy.com. Tom's got almost 10 gallons of maple sap so far. Scott has donated a shoulder mount, a whitetail shoulder mount, and the bid for that is pushing $700 right now. So thank you, Scott. Appreciate that. 40 inside the fence, the old Saginaw Malibu plant the other day. Yeah, they're up. When you see one now, you don't see one. You see a whole herd of them. But I'm not seeing a lot of turkeys as I drive around and just kind of see what's happening in the fields and the edges of the woods. I'm not seeing a lot of turkeys. I'm not concerned about it because they're gonna move around. Hey, Martin, I got an email from Kelly, wondering if we were still good to go with the Wednesday night live at the Lumberjack. No, and I'm sorry. It's one.bidpal.net. One. Here, let me show you something else. If I hold my phone up here, and you can just take the QR code off that, Ross. Let me see if this will work for you. Try that, Ross. Try scanning that. That'll take you right to it. one.bidpal.net/Trinity Monitor. one.bidpal.net/Trinity Monitor. Or try scanning that QR code right there if you can. That'll take you to it. Ed's been seeing a lot of jakes. Oh, Martin's been seeing a lot of birds. Tim says turkey with the recurve or the crossbow. I'm going to go with the crossbow this year. I'm not entirely proud of myself for that. I shouldn't say that. I enjoyed the challenge of a recurve, but I wasn't shooting it enough to feel like I was proficient enough to hunt with it anymore. So I would rather make a quick, clean, humane killing shot with a crossbow than make a bad shot with a recurve. Most of us are on your phones right now and can't scan it. Well, couldn't you do a screen cap? Brent's got his Ohio buck being done by Scott. Iowa Township Fire Department checking in. Well, it concerns me that you can't get to it, Ross. One .bidpal.net. one.bidpal.net/Trinity Monitor. Or when we get done, go back to the video here and scan it with your phone then. Ross got it off the QR code. See, Scott Gatza? See? I'm smarter than I look. Thank God. Or we would all be in trouble. Steelhead and the rivers on the west side of the state in particular heating up like crazy. Good morning, Jeff. So, Ross, what are you bidding on there? Johnny's bringing down a couple of Outdoor Magazine radio logo cornhole boards, which I've already bid on. I did bid on the rec broadheads. Thank you, Ed. one.bidpal.net. My.bidpal.net. What? That's a weird one, Ed. I don't like that one. My.bidpal.net. It's one.bidpal.net. But I'm not going to, I mean, you're looking at it. I'm not. Jason says Scott's doing his turkey. You need to reach out and see how it's going. Don't bug him, Jason. Don't bug Scott and say, where's my mount? Where's my mount? When will you be doing Wednesday Night Live at the Lumberjack again, Mike? Paul wants to know. That's a good question, Paul. It is entirely a staffing issue at the Lumberjack. They want to do it. They would prefer to be doing it just like we would prefer to be doing it. But they don't have the staff. People don't want to come to work. They don't have the staff at the Lumberjack. The people who are showing up to work are wonderful people. They're hardworking people. They're doing a great job. They don't have enough people to allow us to order off the menu. And I don't want to do a buffet. We've set the bar too high at the Lumberjack. So I don't want to have to do a buffet. In about 45 seconds here, I'm going to start recording the radio show. And I'm going to do some weird things because, well, I always do some weird things. Once again, this week in the studio, I find myself at a disadvantage because we're doing some time shifting again. I don't like to do it. I don't like to record shows a week and a half prior to the time they air. There's too much time in there for things and conditions to change. However, I'm in a situation now where, at least for the next couple of weeks, I will probably be doing this time shifting. So, and obviously right now you and I are live. This is direct interaction. It's real time. But when I record the segment of the radio show, I will make a big deal about the fact that I'm time shifting. And you might be watching this live feed and go, well, no, you're not. You're live. Well, I'll have two different things going. A live feed, which is real time and live, and then recording a radio show for the weekend of the 12th and 13th. A couple of other things. Tonight, Wednesday Night Live, we kick off our Lenten hams from Michigan Brand Meats. So if you join me, there you go. There you go, Ed. 1.bidpal.net/Trinity Monitor. Perfect. 1.bidpal.net/Trinity Monitor. Yes, thank you. And there are some items on there that, to be honest with you, you're probably not going to be interested in, like some door wreaths and things like that. But there's a lot of good outdoor related stuff on there too. And those of you who will be at our wild game dinner and auction, wait till you see our live auction items. They are very, very impressive, including a walleye fishing trip with me, Captain Mike Avery, on Saginaw Bay. Value on that? Priceless. Absolutely priceless. So tonight, if you can join me 7 o'clock for another edition of Wednesday Night Live, Nick Grillo will not be joining me. We will have somebody play the role of Nick Grillo, and we'll give away another Michigan brand ham, as we will do every Wednesday night leading up to Easter. This is part of our ham for the holidays, but of course, this is an Easter ham. And you know, at the Avery House, there will be a Michigan brand ham served for Easter. Ed says, how late does the dinner go Saturday night? I don't know the answer to that, Ed. The live auction starts at 7. Thank you, Tim. The live auction starts at 7. I will get through that thing as quick as we can. It is my intent to make the evening go as fast as possible. I do not want to. Hopefully, I'll be on that New England crust very soon. Mike says, happy hump day. Mike, what day is it? It's hump day. Might have to sell the Mona Lisa to go fishing with me. It's possible. Possible. If I get it up around $3,500, I'll give away 2 trips. If I get it up to 3,000, I'll give away 3 trips. Okay, Michigan brand ham. Also, starting this Saturday, VersaSkins has got a 30% discount. Go to versaskins.com, versaskins.com. Use the promo code Avery30 and get 30% off anything on the website. Paul Perone of VersaSkins will be there at our Trinity Monitor event Saturday night as well, and you will get a chance to see VersaSkins clothing in person if you have not had that opportunity yet. What else? Steelhead Fishing, river walleye. Of course, don't forget the season closes the 15th on most of the rivers, not the Great Lakes and connecting waters. And because a river connects to the Great Lakes doesn't mean it's a connecting water. Connecting waters are St. Mary's, St. Clair, and Detroit rivers. Good morning, Kevin. How are you? You're going to use that drone on some fishing trips this year? Yeah, Tim, I certainly hope so. I love the drone. It's been my intent all last summer to send the drone up when I was out in the bay trolling the Angler Quest and get a low-angle shot just above the water of my offshore boards going in front of it. But every time I went to do it, it was either too windy or I got so involved in fishing that I just didn't get around to it. Nick Grillo, who also has a drone, says he's going to go with me and he will make it a point. We will make it a point to get some of that video. Mike, good morning. How are you? Have you talked to anyone about shed hunting with dogs and training them? Not this year, Mike. The last guy I talked to on that was Eric LaFollette of Jay's Sporting Goods. Eric has now moved out to Iowa or Kansas. I haven't had him on the show since then. Dan says it's been a windy 365 days. Ross says he'll bring a couple of dollars to bid on things Saturday night. Ross, you could bid on a fishing trip with me, Ross. That's a good idea, right? You could once again spend more of your money on something that you could do for free. Good morning, Sam. How are you? Still waiting for the drones at Costco to go back on sale. That's where I got mine, Tim. As you know. 30 seconds. All right. In 30 seconds, I will change my focus from this behind the mic, interacting live and real time with you, to recording the radio show, not for this week, for the weekend of the 12th and the 13th. So if I make some comments that you're going, Avery, that doesn't seem right, it's because we are time shifting. I don't like to do it. Sometimes it is necessary. 3, 2, 1, blast off. All right. You are welcome to stick around as I record the first segment of the radio show. But if you ask me questions, I will not be able to answer them directly as I'm doing right now, because I'll switch from my social media microphone to my official broadcast microphone. I will put on my official broadcast headphones and get ready to record the first segment of the show. Again, 7 o'clock tonight, Wednesday Night Live, another edition where we will do a ham for the holidays, which will be, of course, an Easter ham, courtesy of our friends from Michigan Brand Meats. I hope to see you Saturday night at our Trinity Monitor Wild Game Dinner and Auction. If you weren't able to get tickets, check out one.bidpal.net and bid online. Well, thank you, Ken Hunter, for that introduction, and welcome to another edition of the Outdoor Magazine radio show right here on the Outdoor Magazine Radio Network. More than 30 stations across the great state of Michigan talking about the history and tradition of the outdoors, the great outdoors, the outdoor lifestyle, hunting and fishing and shooting and trapping, wildlife issues, conservation issues, even some wild game cooking. I'm here for 3 hours every week. I've been here for years and years and years, and I think, God willing, I've got a few more years ahead of me. It's something I love, right? For those of us who love the outdoors, it is what we do in our spare time. It's what we think about. It's what we plan for. It's what we spend our money on. It's what we schedule our vacation and our days off around. And I am just blessed to be able to do this in some sense as a job. I can talk about the outdoors, and I take advantage of it every opportunity that I get. It's an interesting time here in the studio right now, because here in our part of the state, and I live in the central part of the Lower Peninsula, it is indeed starting to feel like springtime. I know if you are hearing my voice in the UP, you're thinking, Avery, you are absolutely nuts. It's still wintertime here, and I get it. But I can only base my world on where I live, and where I live, it's starting to feel like springtime. Daylight saving time this weekend, by the way, too. That's an example of it, right? And speaking of time shifting, we're doing some time shifting in the studio again this week. It's not something that I like to do, but every once in a while, I find myself in a situation where I need to record shows a little bit early. Normally, we record on Wednesday for shows that air that weekend. And that's about right in my mind, because the show can be timely. Weather conditions probably aren't going to change too much. And, the show can have somewhat of a timely and up-to-date feel. When I have to double up, I actually end up recording shows a week and a half before they air. And that makes me a little bit uncomfortable. I don't like to do it, but sometimes I find myself in a situation where I have to. And I think maybe for the next couple of weeks or so, that might be the case. As soon as I can get back to a regular schedule, I will. Now, I say that about time shifting because I want to make you aware that what I've noticed here in the last couple of days might be old news in your part of the world by the time you hear the show. But you know that one of my true signs of spring is that first dead skunk in the middle of the road. I don't care what the calendar says. To me, the first dead skunk in the middle of the road, and I know, there's a song about it. I get it. I understand that. That first dead skunk to me is a sign that springtime is just around the corner. I had been hearing reports of dead skunks. People sending me pictures of dead skunks, and I could not find one. I was driving around looking for dead skunks. I couldn't find one because I wanted to post that first picture. My buddy Dan from church the other day, he sends me a picture of a dead skunk in the middle of the road in front of his house. So since I couldn't find one of my own, I went over and I looked at his to say that I had the experience. And I took a picture of the dead skunk in front of his house. That was on March 1st. I saw my first dead skunk. But I have always said that to me, the true sign of springtime in my world is when I hear the first red-winged blackbird. Now, we've got a pond behind the house that is always just full of red-winged blackbirds. And it's one of those sounds that the first time I hear it in the springtime, I think, that's right. I haven't heard that for a while. You know, when it gets to be all summer long and you're out there shrilling and trilling all summer long, you kind of forget, you get immune to it, forget about it. But when you haven't heard them for a few months and they show up, it's wonderful. On the same day that I saw that first dead skunk, I saw and heard the first red-winged blackbirds on the pond behind the house. There's usually a couple of weeks in there. So that day was made even more special. My first dead skunk and my first red-winged blackbird. I'm thinking, what more could there possibly be? Well, you know, here in Michigan, people say, well, when the robins come back, that's a sign of springtime. I don't put a lot of stock into that because I've seen robins, I think, 11 months out of the year. But they are nice to see, right? And on the same day that I saw the first dead skunk, the same day that I saw the first red-winged blackbirds, I looked out in the yard and there was a flock of robins bouncing around the yard. Robins, red-winged blackbirds, and skunks, all in the same day. The only thing I was missing would be what? A flock of sandhills going over? I haven't seen one of those yet. As further signs of springtime, again, in this part of the world, in this part of Michigan where I live, people are tapping their maple trees. Another sign of spring. And I get it. I get it. If you live in the UP, you're saying, don't talk to me about springtime. I got 2 feet of snow or whatever it is, and it's cold, and I don't even want to think about it yet. I know. I'm sorry. But I'm not. Because I love this time of year. Things change fast, right? Things change. The weather can change, and I know it's going to be up and down and up and down. But here, again, in my part of the world, it feels like springtime. Have you noticed, though, as you're driving around right now, like those of us with this mindset tend to do, if you got nothing else going just before dark, what do? You jump in the truck and you take a drive and you go look and see what you can see. What about deer this time of year? Will you ever see one single deer this time of year? Nope. If you see a deer right now, there's going to be a herd of deer. I was making a drive the other night. I had a meeting I had to go to, and I looked off in the field, and there were dozens and dozens and dozens of deer. I didn't take time to count them, but there was well over 50 deer there. I thought, this has got to be every deer in this section. I go down the road another mile, another field, same side of the road. There's another 50 deer. I'm thinking, where do all these critters come from? This has to be every deer in this area. Go down the road a little bit more, and there's a whole bunch of more deer. I don't know where they come from, but they must like being together this time of year. They don't like being loners, I guess. I'm not seeing a lot of turkeys as I drive around, and it's too early to get worried about that. I understand. I do feel like our turkey population in some parts of the state is not what it was a few years ago. Obviously, we still have a healthy, viable, vibrant population. And where you see them now is probably not where they're likely to be come turkey hunting season anyway. So I don't get too worried about that. But I do look forward to seeing that first big tom strutting out in the middle of the field. Haven't seen that yet. So what else is going on? Steelhead. It's March now, right? Steelhead fishing in the rivers. Great month for that. Great month for that. Walleye fishing in the rivers. Remember that in our inland rivers in the state here close early. Great Lakes are open year-round, and connecting waters are open year-round. Do not make the mistake of thinking your favorite walleye river connects to the Great Lakes, so it's a connecting river. That's not the case. Well, my St. Joe River, my Grand, my Muskegon, my Manistee, my Saginaw River, they all connect to the Great Lakes, so this must be connecting rivers, so they must be open year-round. No. Connecting rivers are rivers that connect to Great Lakes, like the St. Mary's, the St. Clair, the Detroit. Those are connecting waters. Those are open year-round. Late season ice fishing. And again, late season, kind of a subjective term, depends on where you live in our part of the state. Again, where I live, ice fishing is pretty much done. But again, if you live in the UP, you might have a lot more ice fishing. And it's interesting because our state is so big, so large geographically, demographically. But our state is so big, you during these transition months like March and October-ish, November-ish, when conditions are changing, you can't look at our state as one area because conditions can be so different from one to the other. But even in the UP, rest assured, springtime is coming. It's just around the corner. What else? VersaSkins, my friends at VersaSkins, Paul Perrone. If you go to the website, versaskins.com, that's versaskins.com. Use the promo code Avery30. You can get 30% off on everything on the website. If you want to sign up as a boat captain for the Walleye for Warriors event on Saginaw Bay, June 12th-ish and 13th, 11th and 12th in there somewhere, go to the website, walleyesforwarriors.org, walleyesforwarriors.org. Sign up to be a captain, a boat captain, like I did. Looking forward to that event. Every Wednesday night, 7 o'clock during Wednesday Night Live, right on through Easter, our friends from Michigan Brand Meats will be giving away an Easter ham. Join us for that. A lot of things going on right now. And it's a great time of year. Time to take a break here in the Outdoor Magazine Show. When we come back, Drew Youngdyke of the National Wildlife Federation joins me. Then Ben Nielsen of Showspan talking about how they're going to wrap up their outdoor show season this weekend in Grand Rapids. In hour number 2, a guy who single-handedly changed the spearing laws, underwater spearing in Michigan, John Dirtka, Sean McKeon of MUCC. And in hour number 3, Richard P. Smith checks in from the UP, and of course, wild game chef extraordinaire Dave Miner. That's all coming up this week right here on Outdoor Magazine. I saw your comment there, Dan. We're a few weeks behind up here, and I get it. All right, folks. Have a good day, my friends. Please make a note to join me tonight, 7 o'clock, for another edition. Hey, Joe. Nice to have you along with us. Another edition of Wednesday Night Live, where we'll give away a Michigan brand ham for Easter. And in the meantime, have a good day.